Hello, guys, and welcome back. This is Peter Dahlgren, and I figured out the rotating nose gear and how to make it for the F86. Now, I'm sitting here at home, and I've been drawing, and I ran across something. It's not necessarily my idea, but I think it's just crazy enough to work. So I'm gonna show you guys some cartoon sketching and kind of figure out kind of what I'm doing. There is a video on the F86 landing gear. And as you guys know, it's freaking expensive as hell. So I think one of the big deals is that I want to bring up is that I figured it out. And after looking at our bird, those of you that are building the mirrors models, the gear is kind of something that's holding up my build. And one of the things I didn't like about it was it doesn't rotate. And if you do buy rotating gear, it is unbelievably expensive. Any of it. Airworld's way too small, not going to be strong enough for this airplane. I am not going to use the Electron retracts because, for one, they don't look right. I was going to modify my plane and make it look like the FJ2 Fury because it doesn't. It's longer and it doesn't. It doesn't do what I want it to do. It just doesn't look right. And the airplane I want to compete with eventually, and I want to detail it. So, what I figured out, I am going to go with the Taurus retracts. They are rated for airplanes up to 80 pounds, but let me explain another thing too. AutoCare has actual struts that are scale looking, and they're beautiful. And I figured out something else with the bearing block underneath the trunnion where it goes up and it actually turns. And then I ran across this really kick butt video, and it's called Lift and Pull F86 Retract. Look at it carefully. I am excited. I'm going to start building on the airplane again. I'm going to order the nose gear retract, and then I'm going to order the nose strut, and I'm going to get it the right length. Quarter scale airplanes are not easy to do when you start getting in and actually figuring them out, but when you do, it's just freaking cool. So let me show you and explain exactly what I'm thinking here. And I'm basically didn't really have time to actually show anything that's of any drawing yet as yet, because I need to go down and actually take the nose of the airplane, put it upside down, do a lot of measuring, because I do want this airplane right. And if I'm right, and I think I am, the rotating assembly could be made for less than $50. This is probably one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. And again, look at the lift and pull F86 nose gear. A guy took some standard Robart retracts, put a little tiny spacer on the dumb thing, put a radio controlled car ball link. It's so easy. And I don't know why I didn't think of it. I'm an engineer. So, okay, let me flip the camera around and let me explain to you exactly what I'm thinking, what we'll do, and it'll actually work. Guys, this is probably the best thing and the best news for this airplane that has hit it yet. And my gosh, this is cool. So let me flip the camera around. And okay, here we are. We're in my, here's my caveman drawing table. And I got this kind of in a situation now where I'm going to explain this because I have been beating my brains out trying to figure all of this crap out for this airplane, trying to figure out how to make it work. So on a blank piece of paper, I'm going to explain to you, and we're just going to cartoon this in and figure it out. Now, the one thing is, you have, as you know, you have this square spot where I didn't cut it out. If you've been following the build, I laminated 3 pieces of plywood for my landing gear mount. I've got 2 3/16 and a 32nd aircraft plywood sandwiched together to make the spot to where the landing gear will bolt down. And I didn't cut it out because I've been very torn up about this landing gear thing, and I want this airplane, I want the wheel to rotate and be flat. Okay, now when you come and you look at your bottom of your fuselage on the F-86, it's going to come out looking kind of like that, but you're also going to have a set of doors that comes up here like so, that's split in the middle, and then you have this big wide door that comes out like so. And then you have 2 little lights up there if you're going to put them in. And then this bifolds up so it actually comes down like so. Okay. It hinges here. It's got one little rod that comes up there and holds it. Well, that little rod should have been a dead giveaway when you have your hinges that actually come up like that come up to the bottom of the fuselage. And when this connects to the landing gear, that it should have been a dead giveaway, and it wasn't. So what happened was, some guy, I have no idea who he is, he took his retract, which is like right here, and it's got these spots, and you have we're just going to say that is, this right here is actually your strut. Like I said, we're cartooning this, and I want you guys to understand that this is so easy that anybody could really figure this. Now, like I said, you're going to have these 2 doors that are going to open. I want mine to do this. This is a part of the airplane that is really pleasing, and it's part of your panel line setup anyway. Now, if you go and you look right in here on your bearing blocks to your retracts, you got one thing that comes up, that comes down, that connects. It actually is a bearing that has a sleeve on it and has 2 arms on it. Okay. Like so. And then it has a connection pin that goes in there. It's usually about, I don't know. It depends. I've been told 10 millimeter. This is all connected through it, and this is a bearing that goes in, that bolts up into your trunnion or your block, whatever you want to call it, where it hinges and it comes out like this. That all comes up into here and bolts into it, and that's what makes the wheel turn. Well, okay. I didn't notice this. But when you come down, you have 2 steering arms that come down on there, and guess what? It rolls. So here's what I saw, and this is what I'm going to do, because there is a rod that will be shaped just like this, and it will be in a sleeve just like this. The servo comes down like so. The arm will be right here, and then you're going to connect, like say your threaded end, which is like so. You got a bend in it right there. You're going to take one of your nice fancy little clevises that will screw onto this. It's got the eyelet hole on there. And then you're going to connect this with a ball joint that comes up from here to the servo motor. I'm drawing it kind of funny because it really needs to be kind of explained. And then you got your arm, your servo arm like this, and this connects here. What this does is it takes this arm, once you pull it, it will take and actually, if it was like this and it was like, it's going to move it back and forth, right? That's your steering. And when you come up to this one, you're going to do the same exact thing. And you're going to put a ball, you're going to put one of your threaded clevises on, put a couple nuts on there to hold it, whatever, as long as it moves, it's good. But this is what makes it work. When it's up, like right in here, you have a wheel that will be up in here. When this will be actually flat, okay? And this is just, like I said, we're cartoon drawing. But when it's up, you have this bearing right here. Well, right here, guess what? When it's up, you're going to have another, you're going to take this bearing and right dead smack dab in the middle of it, you're going to take and you're going to put a ball link in there. So when you're looking at it, you have, okay, we'll just do it like this. You got this and you have a bolt holding it in and it goes right directly into that deal. Just make sure you don't drill into the bearing and you Loctite it in. And guess what? When it's up, this piece will come up to this arm, which is going to be right in here. It's going to have a little bit of a channel in it so it can move back and forth. So it's going to go this way and this way. This will connect to back here to the servo with that other arm. And then you're going to put a tube through it that goes right to here. Now, when this drops, when it raises up, if you go on the side view of the tire and you have your shaft coming through here, okay, and this is for your nose gear, you're going to have this rod. And this rod is going to come up like this. It's going to connect to this rod that's up here that's connected to this. Well, guess what it does? When it rolls, it rotates the wheel from being straight, it rotates it up. It's that simple. And so now that we figured this out, we're going to have one other deal. Now, this is another thing I thought of. Once up, you need to turn the servo off so it doesn't rotate around and break the doors or whatever, or burn the servo up. So we're going to put a voltage cutoff to it. When it raises up, you can program it. When the gear is up with electric gear, guess what? You can actually take, once it's up, you can actually program the programmer to shut the servo up when it's up. And it's just a simple switch once it comes up. And so that turns the servo up and keeps it from moving and bobbling around when it's already retracted. It won't move around in there when it's done. So basically what we're saying here is now with the Mears RC Jet, this will work. And it's up to you to decide on what size ball links you want to use for here and there. I am going to put a 100-ounce servo in mine in the back of the firewall into this area. And I'm going to get the aluminum mounts and I'm going to bolt it up and I'm going to beef up the area. This rod, I'm going to go ahead and make it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm ordering my nose gear today and we're going to make this work and it will work. So basically you have this piece and when this piece comes up, once it's up on a top view, and this is probably something I left out of the equation here. When this is up, this is straight, okay? And this, by the way, when you're looking at it from the side view, this ball is going to be underneath all of this. And it's just, this is just so damn cool. But anyway, to make this work, it actually will be at an angle. I just haven't established what it was yet. So I'm going to figure it out. And as soon as I do, then this needs to be put so that ball can actually rotate and actually pull the gear straight. So it should be like this with that ball link on that. Once it comes up here like this sideways, and once it comes down like that, when it retracts, it's just going to pull itself. It's going to pull itself straight, and it's going to push itself to the proper rotation where it actually needs to be. And again, look at the guy, take a guess of the angles he used. I'm going to play with this, and I am going to mock it up. I am going to actually make this piece, and I'm going to mock this whole thing up and make sure that it absolutely works. I got scrap down there. I got it in the shop. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Once I figure it out, then I might even, I don't know, I will send anybody the drawings that wants this to work. And I'm sure that it will be very, very, very stout. And I haven't decided where this is. But again, guys, look at, it's the pull or the lift pull F86 nose gear. And it's so simple. I have been looking and looking and looking for this. Now, I don't know where this rod is going to be positioned. It may have to go this way. I drew it this way because that's the way it looked to me. But once this is up, once this is down, it's fine. But once that retracts up and gets this, once the nose gear retraction angle, which is going to go this way, that's a killer wheel. I don't care what you say. It's some of my best stuff. Anyway, once this is all in here, that rod is on a standoff that's about right in there. And once it's back in here and it's actually pushing, this wheel is still steerable, and it's also it's actually the turning point for this. So I'm going to sit down and actually get a ruler out and actually draw this out. And I'm going to draw it life size. And if you guys, when I get it figured out, I'm going to mock this all up. And it's like I said, it'll be as long as it takes them for the ProLink Taurus gear to get here. And that's what I'm using because it's inexpensive. And I still have a lot of other things to do because I got other things that I got surprises. I got a guy doing some printing work that's going to make me some brakes, and there's some other things. I'm also may even give him the strut and see if he can experiment with making details for it. So I invite you guys to investigate this yourselves and figure it out. But this is how I'm going to make my gear rotate. And since I haven't really had the opportunity to really check a lot of it out, I'm going to be looking at a lot of other cool things. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And again, I'm not in a hurry to get this jet done. And I want to thank everybody for actually paying attention in class. I know a few of you have fallen asleep, especially that Damo guy down here. Those guys in Queensland just, what do you do? But anyway, it's just one of those guys. Got a lot of good buddies, and I made a lot of really good friends on this thing. And Bob Moore and a lot of other guys that have been mentors in this hobby for me. I just want to thank all of you guys very deeply. And we're going to figure this out. We're going to get a lot of things done. Now, it's just, it is what it is, and we'll get it done. So anyway, I've got lots of other new ideas that are coming out for the jet, getting ready to start glassing. I'm going to start putting in a lot of new things together for that. And then we'll start pushing for, start getting panel lines and other things. Now we got the landing gear configuration figured out and everything. It's all on the point of starting to really get back into the build. I have been doing some filling down there, and I'll shoot a video on that. And it just, as a lot of you know, we moved finally. We got things and just everything else is gone. Place is looking great, just whatever. We just had to get out of another situation. So, anyway, I've got an even bigger, better workshop than I've ever had in my entire deal. It's bigger than this living room, and we're going to start building some newer airplanes. And if you haven't checked out the deal with Bob Moore's Citation, do that. That is a thing is just amazing. And Peter Goldsmith just redid some new airplanes that are really cool to check out. And as well as Damos got some new stuff. Damos Down Under, if you're on Facebook, check his stuff out. There's a lot of really good guys on there that are doing all the guys in the Facebook groups and all that. Just want to thank everybody big time. Thanks for being patient. We lost a place in a fire, and we lost a Spitfire that it took 2 years to do and all that. And now we're getting ready to finish up with the F-86. And after the next one, I think we're going to do, as soon as this one's done, I think we're going to deal another Warbird. And I think we're actually going to go and we're going to do a quarter scale FW-190. And was going to go bigger, but it's cheaper to build a jet. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, recommend all your friends and all that. And we're going to get back hard and heavy on the other deal. And all the videos from now on are going to be live, because there's a lot of good information that are going to do in my glassing technique, which is just a little bit different than what some people would say do. And a lot of guys have been questioning that, especially a lot of people from Australia, as well as got some new modelers from the Philippines that are actually been messaging me a lot lately. And I'm going to make this all kind of a very good and easy as I possibly can. We're going to start talking about a lot of these things and why I do them. And we're going to be doing live videos from here on out, because we really need to, because of the final fitting. It really helps to see how it's actually done, and not necessarily how others would do it. I'm showing you how I do it, and whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. But anyway, we'll get through it and get everything kind of rolling around. But anyway, cartoon wise, I know I'm not a very good artist on figuring this out, but direct and to the point, I think this is pretty self-explanatory, and we'll get it figured out. Otherwise, I need to put my stuff away before the War Department comes in and sees that I'm fucking around, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Anyway, which is actually honeydews. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the funny papers.